Do you want to never lose to a banger again in pickleball? Then this video is for you. We've all experienced that player out on the court that only knows one speed, hard, or they avoid the soft game like the plague. Those are the types of people that we're talking about, the bangers. But I got good news for you. There's a reason that professional players don't only hit the ball hard. And it is because if you can master these 7 things I'm about to show you, you will never lose to a banger again, because overpowering you simply won't work. Tip number 5 is super hard to master, and tip number 7 might just change your pickleball game forever.
And be sure to stay to the end of this video, because we're giving away $1,000 worth of Selkirk store credit, split evenly between 5 lucky winners. Stay to the end to figure out how to enter.
Let's roll. One of the best tips to beat a banger may sound really simple, but it's simply this: to stay calm. Bangers are bullies. They're gonna try to bully their way to the kitchen line from the baseline, but if you choose to stay calm and not overreact or move your feet or lunge, stay under control, slow that heart rate down, and I promise the more calm you are in reacting to their ball, the more success you will have in beating bangers.
This second tip is a simple secret, but it's really gonna increase your chances of hitting the ball better with contact and more accuracy. And it's honestly just moving your feet. Now, I know that sounds really simple, but a lot of times I see people getting caught flat-footed, and what happens is they're now reaching for that ball, or now they're off balance. So instead of having to reach, it's really important when you are seeing that person contact that ball that you are already getting in position. That way you're in a better position and you're not gonna be caught off balance or reaching.
So you're getting beat by bangers at your local court. Listen to this tip, because this tip is going to silence those bangers and help you win more points. So the tip that I have for you today is short and compact counter punches, okay? A lot of people, when they're receiving this ball, they try to counter either too big or they just block the ball. You wanna find a middle ground, and don't just react to their shot by blocking it, and also don't swing too big. So you want these short, compact swings, almost using that tricep and keeping those upper extremities nice and quiet, and counter punching that ball as deep as possible. That's gonna help you win more points against bangers.
Have you ever played a banger and they just keep repeatedly banging the ball till they get to the kitchen line? Well, this tip is really gonna help. And what it is hitting the ball and countering the ball so it goes at their feet, so going down, and then more importantly, keeping them back and deep in the court. Now, a banger really wants to move forward into the court, because that's gonna give them that power advantage over you. And when you're keeping them back and when you're hitting that ball down at their feet, that's a very hard ball for them to be able to hit another drive or another powerful shot. So I'm gonna show you guys what this looks like. So I'm gonna really work on keeping that ball going down at the feet and as deep as I possibly can in the court. And that's gonna really prevent them from being able to keep powering that ball at me. And at some point, their ball is either gonna go out in the net or they're gonna have to hit a drop.
So this next tip I'm about to share with you seems simple, but it's really hard to master. And that is simply, if you can learn to let out balls go, you will win more points against bangers in pickleball. Now, that's easier said than done. One of the hardest things in pickleball is laying off a ball that's up here, because you get really into these points. However, I'm gonna give you 3 quick things that are gonna help you know when to avoid hitting an out ball. So firstly, I want you to watch where your opponent is on the court. If my opponent is making contact with the ball with a big backswing in the middle of the court, that's a good idea for me to watch for an out ball. If they're further back on the court, they have much more real estate to work with, but the closer they get to the net in relation to how hard they swing, now I'm more likely to want to let the ball go. So the next tip is really valuable, and that's not just looking to where your opponent is on the court, but you're actually going to watch for where they contact the ball. So if your opponent is a banger and they hit the ball and they contact it very low off the ground, now they're having to hit up on the ball. And real quick, bangers like to hit hard or slow. They like to hit hard. So if they're hitting the ball hard from a low position, that ball is on an upward trajectory and it's probably going out. So not only do you want to see where they're standing on the court, but where they make contact with the ball. If they make contact with the ball higher, then they're gonna have a much more ability to hit down on the ball and create topspin and keep that ball in. So tip number 2, watch where they contact the ball and how high it is off the ground. And our last tip is similar to that, but not only are we gonna watch where our opponent is on the court and where they make contact with the ball, but I'm also looking at their forward momentum, okay? So if my opponent is ever sprinting towards the net, that's a lot of momentum coming towards me. That is a green light for me to wanna let the ball go, okay? Oftentimes, if my opponent's running towards the net, I'll just let the ball go, and if they keep it in, I'll tip my cap to them and dare them to do it again. Because most of the time, you're only gonna keep the ball in when you're planted, okay? So if your opponent's running towards the net, just let it fly.
This next tip is a simple adjustment, but if you do this, you're gonna highly decrease your opponent's ability to try to overpower you, and it's actually to target their backhand. Now, a lot of bangers will really favor their forehand, like that's typically the shot that they're gonna wanna speed up and really gonna wanna overpower you. And a lot of times, people don't have that same comfortability, consistency, or accuracy with their backhand. So if you find that the opponent that you're playing with is trying to just overpower you with their forehand, go ahead and intentionally hit their backhand, whether it's the return or the counter, but really target that, because I guarantee you that shot's not gonna be as powerful as their forehand. So if I hit to my opponent's forehand and I realize they have like a pretty powerful drive, then for the next point, I'm gonna intentionally target their backhand. So instead of going to their forehand this time, I'm gonna go to their backhand, because that's typically going to be a weaker shot for them.
No joke, this one tip could revolutionize your pickleball game, and it will help you beat more bangers. And I'm talking about the seesaw effect. So what this means is that if your opponent is at the kitchen line with you, or really if they're in the transition zone or anywhere on the court, if they're contacting the ball from a really low position, it tells me on the opposite side of the court, I want to be at a high position, because they're hitting up on the ball so I can hit down on the ball. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. If we're at the kitchen and maybe you're playing a banger and they want to speed the ball up, if they attack the ball from this low position and I'm on the opposite side of the net, I want to get my paddle up and ready to hit down on the ball, okay? They're hitting up on the ball, therefore I want to hit down on the ball. That's that seesaw effect. Now the opposite is true as well. If your opponent is up here ready to attack, you should drop your paddle, because they're hitting down on the ball and now you're going to defend low. So again, look to see and read where your opponent's paddle is, do the opposite, and you'll beat more bangers in pickleball.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure that you give it a like and subscribe to the PlayPickleball.com YouTube channel. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, leave them in the comment section below.
And as we mentioned before, we're giving away $1,000 worth of Selkirk store credit, split evenly between 5 lucky winners. To enter the giveaway, you can find the link in the description below. We'll see you on the next one.